Hi everyone, welcome to this very amateurish video clip tour of my Seawhite A5 watercolour travel journal. These first two images in there, sorry, this black strap is actually my pen holder that I actually use on sketchbooks when I go out sketching. It's very nice. I've had it for about 4 years now. And the elastic straps mean you can move it from book to book, so it'll be going on my next Seawhite book immediately after this filming session. This is how most of my work starts. This is just a couple of line drawings of cottages and barns. These are my favourite subject. Cottages, barns, buildings in the landscape actually, because my first love is pen and ink drawing, and these illustrate it very quick, very aptly, I think, with lots of nice line drawings and pens. But every so often I actually think, well, I should do a bit of painting, and this landscape was drawn with no pencil framework underneath. This is just watercolor with very minimal pen. This is a landscape near the Yorkshire Wolds, near where I live, and it was drawn in watercolor and then pen added. And this next one this is a landscape. The working method for this was to draw the pen lines first and then add the color afterwards. Selectively, as it's one of my things not to fully colour in the whole of a painting. Probably my background as a graphic designer, that helps. And here's one. I should apologise for the subject matter for the next few pages, because I did most of these drawings. We had a week in the Lake District a few weeks ago, so many of these are Lake District images. This was on May Day as we travelled up there, and this was a village scene at Long Preston, the Maypole. Again, it kind of demonstrates my working method of line and wash, but leaving parts uncoloured and using the colour to focus the viewer's eye. And here are a couple from Ambleside. A pair of cottages, again very quickly sketched, and this is just off the A593 at Ambleside, and again using the sketchbook to work out compositions for later pieces for my demos and workshops, which I'm fortunate enough to do quite a few. So I've started to actually make notes of the colours I used on in the margins. And this was a section of the wall in the back garden of our holiday cottage, again exploring how colours mix on the page rather than use pre-mixed palette colours. Another one, this is a cottage near Grasmere, again using a strong line drawing and then just selective colour to focus. And these are more of the same. These are just farm buildings. I'm fascinated with perspective, line drawings, again colour notes there. A section of the wall outside our holiday cottage with a warning sign there. Again, these are sideways on, so I don't want to turn the book. These are not. This was in Chesters, near Skelwith Bridge. Lovely rusty piece of ironwork there against the stonework of the building. And this was the famous Dog and Gun pub in Keswick, again very quickly drawn. Another one from York, a bit random in the middle of all the Lake District stuff, but this is at the top of the famous Shambles in York. It's just a scene I glimpsed quickly and thought I need to capture all those challenging angles. Another one, again, showing how I love dramatic perspective rather than just full-on twee views. Again, line drawings. Here's one which has not had any colour added to it as yet. I may go back in and put colour, but I think it works as a good line drawing. Now we move on to the Yorkshire Dales. This is in a village called Mooker, and this was working out compositions for some work for a gallery, for some proper paintings at a gallery I've got up in Mooker. Sorry, not got work in. Again, another view of a row of cottages in Ambleside, and then another kind of landscapey one. This was drawn first in line and then colour added afterwards, but not completed because I've tried to avoid pretty twee pictures if I can. Here's a very experimental, very loose one. I should add at this point that none of these sketches, the line work, none of the sketches took much more than 15-20 minutes to do. This one, I set myself a time limit of 5 minutes for the drawing and 10 minutes for the colour. And it worked, and I quite like this loose drawing. It's not detailed, unlike this one, which is fairly detailed. It's a technical drawing of the construction of a dry stone wall, which I actually saw spotted on a poster in Keswick, and redrew it and added notes. We're moving cross country now. This is a view of Staithes, which is another favourite place. I'm at the Staithes Festival of Arts and Heritage in September every year, and I'm working out sketch studies for new works. And this is a nice dynamic view, which I may or may not end up as a fully realised painting. This one, there is no ink whatsoever on this, no pen. I was just trying out colours and doing it's more or less an abstract landscape, trying to convey a dramatic sky. I'm pleased with parts of it, but not all of it. And this is above Haworth in the Yorkshire Dales. Again, another dynamic view, and I'm trying to be a bit more painterly in this, showing the contrasts between kind of man-made walls and buildings. This one, I did all the dry brush paintbrush strokes, sorry, first, and then I added the line work, showing it in context. This is an idea for a demo for a workshop piece, and I think it works well. So I'll be using that technique. This is another drawing. The angle is not the angle of these cottages was not exaggerated. This is actually how they are, and the sign "not for cars," that kind of struck me really well. And again, demonstrating nice strong watercolours against drawn images. And here's another one. This is in the Yorkshire Wolds. Nice strong line drawing, and a bit sometimes I'm not that happy with that one, but you know, for me sketchbooks are a place to try ideas out before you commit them. This one I'm fairly pleased with. This is a village called Nunnington in North Yorkshire, and it demonstrates the use of this dynamic perspective angle and just featuring colour there in the far distant hills, and I think that works. That might find its way into a proper painting. Again, this is on the North York Moors, Goathland. Not too happy with that one, but again, as I said, sketchbooks are a place to try ideas out and see if they work. This one I think works. I'm fairly happy with this. So I'm going to be using this as a workshop piece, as a demo. This is up in the upper reaches of the Dales, Swaledale, a nice dramatic dry stone wall. And this highlights my technique of using unpainted man-made structures against colours of landscape. And here's one with the only pen work on here is on the wire fence there. Trying to use watercolour. Fairly happy with the viewpoint and everything. I'm just less than happy with the tree, but again, and this one has absolutely no pen work on it whatsoever, just pure watercolour. But this is where I'm happiest doing a line drawing of a wall and a tree somewhere in the Dales. And again, this is a moorland farm, showing again the use of colour against a line drawing with minimal ideas. I quite like that composition, so I should be using that one again. And here's one for this was a tonal study for this is the edge of the Beck in Staithes, North Yorkshire, again another favourite place, so I should be using that one again. Here's a pure line study of a valley in Wharfdale, showing the barns and the majestic sweep of the fells above there. And here's another time limited one. This took 5 minutes in total, just splashing paint around. Fairly happy with that one. It's nice and loose. Here's a nice perspective study of a railway station at Hellifield. It looks abandoned, but it's actually still in use. And this was a study of some brickwork and crumbled plaster on an old building somewhere. I didn't make any notes on that one, sorry. And then again, I had a fit of, right, I need to be a painter. And here you go, splash some paint around. Parts of this I'm really happy with. I love the way some of the colours blend on the page. I really like dramatic skies rather than pretty twee ones. Another attempt at being a painter. I'll gloss over this one because I'm not at all happy with that one. And then the last one in the book, which is another study of a barn up near Thwaite in Swaledale, another fairly successful one. And then here's the last page in the book. I actually used this. I filled one of my watercolour travel palettes with some new paints, and I make notes of what they are and trying them out in a little doodle. And there you go. That's the end of my sketchbook tour. Hope you've enjoyed it, and apologies for the slightly wonky camera work. Thanks everyone for looking. Bye.